So welcome everybody. This is our STS webinar where we tackle different challenges that you may be having in your business, see how we can help with our project planning software within STS. And we also get deep into some of the specifics of how to use the platform. So if there's new features you haven't seen yet, or if there's certain ways that you'd like to set up your project, or do strategic work with your team, you haven't explored some of the different ways we can do it. There's lots of ways that you can set up STS. So this is a great time to have those questions if you have any answered, but also some thoughts if you have some ideas about how you would like to set up your workflow, set up your projects. This is a great time to get into some of the specifics, and we can build it up for you live on the call. So we want to make this as valuable as possible for you in those ways. And we also want to make this as interactive as possible too. So we don't want this to be like a time where myself and Priya will just kind of speak at you or teach you the whole 45 minutes or an hour. We want this to be something where you can jump in and interact with us and actually get into the tool and use it in a way that maybe you want to, or I've been thinking about, or just to get into some of the challenges you're facing. Anything you'd add to that, Priya, just to get started?
No, I think you did a great job.
Okay, cool. So what I'll do is I'll start with there's a board that we have. So the way we run these is that we go ahead and invite you to get into STS by using a particular board that we have set up for these webinars. And so the way that we'll do this is that you can click on the link. If you don't have access to it, just drop your actually I'll put a link so you can sign up, or Priya, if you don't mind doing that, putting that in the chat. Then you can sign up, get an account, and we'll add you to the team where this board lives. So if I've already lost you, that's okay. I'll explain it. I'll explain it a bit more. But before I do that, actually, I'll do it in this way. I'm going to go through kind of our agenda, if you will. This is the board I was just talking about. So this is set up for this webinar. So this is a board. This is completely customizable to whatever you're doing with your strategic work or planning, or if you just want to chat with, one of the LLMs like ChatGPT or Perplexity, this is a place you can do it. But all of this is configurable. So we create templates for clients. So if you have a particular workflow, something you want to go through, your team goes through, you're a consultant, you have to answer these particular questions for your clients every single time you meet with them. We can set that up where you have, a list for the questions that you need to ask, or you have the context of your business or their business so that everybody's on the same page. And then we have AI that we can add anywhere within this workflow to help you like come up with ideas, do strategic work, or maybe like do research. Whatever you use LLMs for, you can do that within STS, but within a little bit more customization and ability to arrange your information. So this is our agenda here on the left. You could use this as a way to run your meetings too. So we'll do the quick welcome and team intros. I'll give you a little bit of background, or Priya will. We'll get into a demo, and this is where we'll start to collaborate. So there's ways that you can use STS. Today we're going to talk about scenario planning. We could talk a bit about risk assessment, or maybe it's tackling a big challenge, a big hairy challenge that you're facing. So this is a time for you guys to kind of chime in. So think about it now, actually. If there's something that you're struggling with right now with work or your company, you're trying to get into a new market, you're trying to do something that you haven't done before, and you need some help thinking it through, do some strategic work, and you want to create a plan, this is the time to bring that forward, and we can get right into it. We'll have Q&A pretty much. You could ask me questions right now, like just interrupt, unmute yourself, just speak up, and we'll get right into because this is a time for you guys. We'll also ask you for a little bit of feedback on kind of the platform, how you've been using it. And then there's a bit of an announcement for next week too, to talk about Charlie's work. So MB, I see you have your hand raised.
Thank you. Quick question right now.
Yeah.
About your network of users and experts in STS already. Do you have that created, the community of experts?
What do you mean experts?
Well, those who know STS really well and are able to coach in it or answer some questions, or if that's already something that's set up, via like an AI engagement.
So there are quite a few of us that use are like power users, we would say.
How are
Uh,
you?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Mhm.
So are you looking for like specific help or guidance, kind of outside of?
Well, maybe, and it was just a question I didn't want to forget. So here I am jumping in now. Yeah.
All right, cool. So here's something you can do, like, and this is for everybody. I did say you can just unmute yourself. Please do that. It's fine. You can also like just drop questions here on the board itself. You see the second list here. So the question is, do you have a community of expert STS experts? And then also, MB, you can click on that card and add to it to give us a little bit more context, and then we can like we'll address that as we go. Also, this is a helpful list here for any notes. So if you're in a meeting and you want to ask a question, or basically you're taking notes, we have auditors here in the room, the transcription. So often we'll use that where I'll drop like key quotes or moments here so we can have that as a takeaway and something we can come back to later.
And I want to add to what you're saying there, Ben. So think about with STS, you want to think about meetings in a different way. So we're used to talking and doing presentations in meetings. This can shift the way you approach meetings. So we have the agenda, we have the conversation, but simultaneously we're taking collaborative notes. We're asking questions, we're generating ideas. So that rather than everything having where meetings work in a linear fashion by the nature of our speech, they now become simultaneous and collaborative. So think about what that could mean for how you run a meeting in your organization. It's completely different
Awesome.
and often silent,
Thank you.
which is really strange.
Murillo, I'm going to probably point to what Priya just said a bit in the construction industry a bit later, so I'll keep that in mind. Pablo, please, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, can we use the same user we created a few weeks ago?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
Well, I tried the link and I get an error occurred.
Okay, so I'll make sure that you're added to this team. You should be, but I'll make sure that you are. So just drop me send me a DM of your email address, and I'll make sure you're on the team.
Sounds good. Thanks.
So we're in this team right here. So I'm just going to say real quickly, my name is Ben Clayton. I'm the Chief Engagement Officer with the STS. I joined the team just over 2 years ago, around 2 years ago. And I'm based in Montreal. And so my job is basically to make sure that everybody that's using the tool is using it to their utmost, like getting the most out of it, getting the value that they came here, what they're looking for. And also to MB's point earlier is around creating the community of supporters. And Priya, do you mind just giving yourself a quick introduction or give everyone an introduction to you?
sure. I'm Priya, CRO of Strategic Thinking Systems. I'm in Vancouver. I have a PhD in industrial organizational psychology, and I'm working more on the enterprise solutions and opportunities. So mid-size and larger. So I'm working on those opportunities. So if you're interested in customizations, how can we build a specific use case for your business? And do those types of complicated things to bring it into an enterprise scenario, that's where I come into the conversation.
Great. Awesome.
And a little bit broadly, MB, to your question too, if and this may be relevant to others as well, in respect to community and power users, what we're doing is individuals who do have certain types of templates that they like to put into the tool, they can build those, and then based on the number of users that they bring to the platform, they can charge their own prices, and then STS will take a portion. So STS can be a supportive tool for your work. You can build in your custom templates, collaborate with your community, and then there's an opportunity to get some additional profit working collaboratively with STS. So that's sort of what the community model looks like. And you are muted, MB, but I see your mouth moving.
Yeah. And
And you are muted again. A little hypersensitive there with Zoom.
uh, yeah, technology and I have a love-hate relationship. Pretty clear communication about how things are going to go. Do you have a structure, like a financial structure put in place that we can drop into?
We'll get that to you. I just want to make sure, double confirm with Francis, but it's
It's
there.
something being talked about, being
Yes,
worked on.
absolutely.
Yep, got it. Thanks.
Great. Okay, cool. Thanks. Thank you both. Okay, so back to this, what I wanted to share, so everyone knows that the way that this is organized is that we have teams, which is kind of if there was a hierarchy of the way that everything is structured in STS, at the top are teams. So if Pablo MB and I were in a team, then I could create a folder within that team that only we would have access to. So Pablo, I just added you to the webinar team, so you should have access to it. Okay, cool. So this is a way to like basically create some security within your company. Like if you're in HR, you don't want everybody to see the HR folders. You only have an HR team, and everybody in HR sees that and that alone. If you have projects you're working on yourself and you don't need to have everybody on your team have access to it, create your own team. Actually, it comes with whenever you create an account, you have your own team. It's just you, and anything you do in that is just visible to you and you alone. That's it. So you don't have to worry about like data leaking or people having access to anything you don't want to. So you can have complete control over what people see. So then when you create a folder, you add it to a team, and then everybody within that team sees that folder. And so we created this webinar team. You can click on it, you can configure it, go to team settings, and then you can add people to it at the very bottom. And then they'll have access to that team and everything in it. Okay. So I'm going to get it. So you should have access to this webinar folder, and then we've cleaned it up so that it's just, you could just see from this year, 2025. And then, so these are the ones that we're going to work with today. Mostly it will be these top two. And then once you click into here, this is a board. And just for everybody's knowledge, this is a board we're looking at. These are frames, these are lists, and these are cards, just so you know what we're talking about when we're talking about these things. And also you'll notice here at the very top, this panel changes depending on what you're doing. So if I wanted to do something with this frame, you see now I can add a frame, click on that, I can go left, right, up, down. So here you could go infinite directions. You can go up to the left or right or down. Basically, this is a whiteboard that you can add cards to. If you ever use something like Miro, it's very similar. You can go up, down in any direction you want, depending on how you want to work. I typically work, I'm used to kind of a Kanban style. I typically work from left to right. So I'll have a frame here, and then I can add one to the left as I go. And I'll keep adding them as I need to add more information or context. Okay, is that clear so far? And then you have these are lists, and within a list, you could do a few things with them. So I can basically, I can add cards here by just typing here. I could just type, and then as soon as I have a card down here, I can now manage this, and this I can move from left to right or up, down. If I have a bunch of cards, I can click them here. I could just click here to select them. I could choose another list, and then over here, see this? I have now chosen actually this here. I'm going to unselect them so you'll see how this really works. I click on a list, I go here, I can see select all cards. And then now that those are selected, I can choose another list and say, go to see, notice this has changed up here. So as soon as I click here, this changes. And selected cards, I can copy and paste, or I'll just do that. I'll copy and paste, and now I have one here and one here. So it's just a nice way to be able to control, where you put your information or how you move it along from left to right, or you'll see in a minute, we're going to get a bunch of ideas from AI. This is a time when you would use a feature like this to move it to, oh, I'm going to keep this and I'm not going to keep that. So in the meantime, I'll select these two, click on the list, it's highlighted, and I'm going to delete all selected cards in the list. So there's a lot of ways you could do things within STS. I'm going to keep it pretty simple here for now, but just know that when you select on any of these lists or cards, your menu is going to change here. So you can typically select here and then look up here and see what your options are on how to manage these different elements within. Okay. Okay, cool. So now that I've got into that, let's see. So Priya, I think it's a good time to talk about, why we created this thing in the first place. Like, why is STS a tool that you might want to go to? Do you want to kind of talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, so the STS is really a thinking tool, right? It's to help you clarify your thoughts, go deeper into ideas, work with the web. We're going to be adding, documentation functions, but how can we help individuals solve big problems, collaborate, build project plans so that you can achieve your goals in a single space and collaborate with your team. So it resolves those sorts of ideas of creative idea generation. You can have everyone in a meeting generate ideas collaboratively. I've done this with 70 people in a room. You can summarize those ideas, you can prioritize those ideas. It allows for that opportunity for all voices to be heard. So sometimes when we're in meetings, certain individuals will dominate a meeting and then other people don't get a chance to speak. If you're hyper creative and you get an idea in the beginning of a meeting and somebody's still talking, you don't want to lose that idea. And so we start to get friction in meetings. So you can type those ideas in this space and capture those ideas and go back to them in the meeting as you are having those conversations. Sometimes if you have people collaborating from different cultures, you're going to have people who are shy, more talkative. You're going to be able to get ideas from all of those different types of people. And then if you think about working cross-functionally, you often use lingo that means something in an area that you're well educated in, and you're in a meeting and you don't understand what somebody else is talking about because they're throwing out acronyms and lingo. You've got AI right there that you can work with. So Ben, do you want to sort of show the ask and find feature on that board? So this ask and find feature allows you in a meeting to ask questions of the AI, and no one will be able to see that you're asking these questions. So, somebody used some fancy lingo, you're still within the tool. You don't have to switch tools. You can ask about this lingo that somebody has used, and really engage in the meeting in an informed way. So there's a lot of things that happen in this space. It also allows you to bring in information from different boards, look at past history. So we kind of look at it as this way of you have multiple advisors that can give you different perspectives on information. You have multiple team members. They provide perspective on information. And then over time, as you use STS, you start building a long-term knowledge base. And then you start to pull from that knowledge base into your working board, which is your short-term memory. And so you've got long-term memory, short-term memory, and multiple perspective from AI advisors and humans. Now imagine what's possible if you can bring all of that together. So that's really what we're trying to do with STS, and over time, it'll facilitate decision making at a deeper level as well. Okay, I went off, sorry. I don't know. I'm in a state today.
Yeah, that's good. We're on a roll. So,
Fantastic.
some questions. Pablo, I think you unmuted yourself.
Yeah, I wonder if there's any place here on the board where I can put my ideas, but nobody else can see them until I have them more polished, let's say.
So what I would do in that case, on this board, everybody sees what you see. I mean, you could add a frame below, and maybe no one notices, and you start putting some things down there. But I think what maybe a better strategy is actually have it in maybe your own board, and then bring it in when it's appropriate within the conversation.
Okay.
Yeah. So you could open up a separate tab where you can flip between the main board and your separate board. And then Ben, do you want to show how you can pull a list from another board into that working board when they're ready?
Sure. So, were you thinking like within, say, like as in copy paste, or maybe, yeah, okay. So if you have, let's say we're in this webinar board right now. So let's say that I'm in the scenario planning one, for example. And so let's just say, oh, I like this template of business context. And so this is actually a good example. So Priya talked about creating a kind of long-term memory. And like so once you do this once, and STS is really all you need to do, and we've done this ourselves, is we created a list in a board like this that has all of this information about who we are, who our mission, our vision, our goals, our objectives, and all that kind of stuff. In fact, we did go-to-market strategy work some time ago, and that has become some of the foundational work that we built on top of that. So what I mean by that is that, like, say, I'll just take this card, for example. It's now in the clipboard. I'm going to go back out of this, staying in the same tab within my web browser. I'm going to click back into the webinar, and I'll just say, I'll put this in, actually, I'll put it in notes. I've selected here. You see there's one selected card, and I'm going to copy and paste it. So it's going to stay in the previous board, and now it's here too. I could do that with lists. I could do that with also with frames to bring things over. Okay, cool. So that's one way that you can use this. But also, I could go here to the general assistant. So this is my AI that we've configured here. I can add another board for additional context options. So it's kind of that long-term memory. I'll go to the webinar folder, 2025, and I'll go to that same one I was working in, scenario planning for webinar, and I'll confirm. And now you can see here, that's the name of that board. And you can see I could bring in the business context from there. I'll save that. And now anytime that I have a question with this AI, I can bring that context into this conversation. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool. Pablo, yes. Nick, sort of maybe. All right. All right, great. So yeah, there's just two different ways to bring in another list or frame or relevant context within the work that you're doing here.
So the other little thing, so you noticed how Ben talked about list or frame. So the top of your frame, the frame is that gray area. You'll see a tiny little box. The top right of every list has a little box, and the top right of every card has a little box. So when you check that box, you can pull the whole frame in. If you just check on a list, you can pull a list in. If you check on a card, you'll just pull the card in.
Right. We're just selecting one thing.
Yeah. So you can choose how much information you copy and paste from another board at any given time.
Cool. Okay. So what I think we have, if I want to open this up to talk about any questions you have about the interface itself. Like you signed up, you started to use it, maybe you had some roadblocks, you have some questions about best ways to do X. This is a good time to talk about that. But we're also going to save time to talk about maybe a specific challenge that you're facing within your business. And we also, if we don't have anything that's maybe like top of mind, we could also do some scenario planning and how we use STS in order to do, like, you have a tough decision, you have two paths you can go. We could do it like basically scenario planning, this option or this option, and let's see what either way looks like. All right.
And I'm going to add a little sort of nuance to what Ben said. So with respect to a business challenge, we can reframe that and say, if you want coaching in a specific area, we can just give you, whoever volunteers, we can coach you on a specific business challenge using STS.
Great.
So, free coaching. So does anyone?
From my perspective, there's multiple projects yet to get a handle on, but to narrow it down, I think in sending this recording once we're through to those who I'm engaging so that they can take a look and have some questions, then we can have next conversations. But it's really great to see how things have advanced so beautifully. My question right now, though, is how does this compare to like Asana? Do you know Asana? And they have a lot of AI capabilities as well.
Yeah, that's a great question. And I'm a trained I train companies on how to use Asana. I've done that for many years. So I know the tool really well, including the AI that they had embedded into it. So I would say that the biggest difference between a tool STS and a tool like Asana, which there are many. So there's Asana, if you're not familiar with it. There's also Monday and Wrike and Jira and ClickUp. And there's even Excel. There's a lot of different tools that kind of can do the same thing, which is the project management piece. So if you have a project that's already is ready to deploy, you have tasks, you have deadlines, objectives, you have your team, you have all those, basically everything already set. that you can then deploy. And Morello, this would be, something that I could speak to you about too, is like if you're in construction and you're ready to basically launch a new project, maybe you're ready to break ground. So everything is already set, and you hand it off to your project management team or your PMO office. Where we come in, and the gap that we're filling, which is a big one, is in the planning stage. So we've talked to a lot of project managers. I've worked as a project manager myself for years, and we've been talking to a lot of PMO people in PMO office and beyond. And what we're seeing is that there's no tool that helps on the planning side. So basically, you have your objective, your business objectives for the next quarter. You need to get to, you need to raise revenue by 10%. You're thinking about entering into a new market. You have a new product you want to launch, but you don't know you don't have the plan yet. So this is the tool to come in to do exactly that. So you have your business context, you have your objectives, and then you have no idea what to do after that. So, okay, so cool. So that helps answer, MB?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, good. So let me I'll ask again about like particular like use cases you guys have. If there's not any particular challenges you have using the platform or questions about the platform, I'll give you another second to raise your hand on that. We could go into specific challenges that you're having in business. Questions about the platform, or Priya, please.
So just a couple of things. One, I just added a card here with an STS YouTube channel link. So if anyone wants that, all you do is click the little paperclip. And then Charlie, are you on the call? Yes. There is a question here from Morello. How does a platform differ from BIM platforms or Autodesk? And Charlie, I think you're the best person to answer that question.
Nice.
You're muted though. Still muted. Tiny phone. No, still muted.
So for everybody else, is like I'm going to ask, what is a BIM platform or Autodesk? To just as an example of what Priya was talking about earlier, it's like if there's something that comes up that people don't know us, you can ask questions while you're in the meeting. Okay, did somebody unmute?
Yeah, Charlie's ready now. Oh, your sound's not coming through, Charlie, even though you are unmuted. I don't know what's happening.
Well,
there we go.
Now?
Got you.
All right. Like I said, I had 3 unmute buttons. I finally found the 2 that's right on this phone. All right. So let me ask a clarifying question. BIM, are we talking about business information modeling? Is that the BIM that's being referred to here? And then I can answer the question.
Yes, that's correct, Mr. Slavin.
Okay. So business information modeling, or some of us might have used some tools to model business processes. Those are detailed tactical implementation tools to help you model the environment. What STS does is help you go to collaborative space, use AI tools to come up with the best. Like my seminar or webinar next week is going to be on scope and work breakdown structure. So it will help us identify the elements of the business information model, but it won't actually produce the graphics for it. Now, this would be a question for Ben and Priya, is that once I get the list of all of the boxes that are going to be in my model, and I want to go ahead and sequence them and put in dependencies and put resources and flows on them, have we got any interfaces with a business graphics tool that allow us to take in these lists and put them into those graphics tools at this point?
There's something in discussion that will allow you to put everything in graphically, but I'm not sure where that will go just yet. So I wouldn't get very excited about it. But if you can build those
Okay.
dependencies and there's a way to whatever graphical tool you have available, if you can put the text into the tool and have it translated, that's the option, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
So we can use STS to get us to the fundamental elements of the business information models. We just haven't gotten to the place where we can actually model it graphically yet, but we know that that would need to be. Same way with building out the work breakdown structure. When I finish that next week, we still have to build the interface into the JIRAs, the Asanas, the Microsoft Project World, the Reeks, all those various tactical tools. We have to build that in there. Otherwise, you just have to go through and copy it and paste it into those task lists. Same way we would do it in the business information modeling. We take all those list elements and put it into the other tool, and then it'll ask you certain questions about the relationships, the resources, the timelines, and all those types of things to build out your model for business information modeling. Does that help?
And so I think a lot of the questions that are coming up today, high level, the other tools help you build a visual representation and a model of text and data. But we still have to work out all of those problems in our head
Yes.
before we translate it to those tools. So STS does the part that you have to work out in your head. It does a big chunk of that work for you. And then as users, we're able to just assess that. Does it make sense? Would I refine this? And if you refine something in STS, instead of having to manually refine the entire plan and look at all those dependencies, STS will redo all the dependencies that you want to redo based on a minimum adjustment that you make. And so it
Yep.
captures those things that we miss that are highly cognitively taxing. And then once that's done, you can translate it into a different tool to visualize it.
So I'd like to add one more thing, Priya. You said in our heads, but it can be collectively across the entire team of heads. And then we can go to the AI world and ask the 3 or 4 interfaces already that are out there beyond ChatGPT to the other models and say, what would you suggest? And then that way, at the end of the day, after we build out the STS list, we have the collective wisdom of everybody that was on the channel, plus everybody in the world, based on the question, the prompt that we put into those AI engines. So it's much more. It's the example I think I gave Priya at one time when we put together a project plan within about 30 minutes. I said this would have taken a team of 4 expert project managers 3 days in order to produce the same work. So 3 times 8 times 4 or whatever it might be, you got close to 100 hours. Let's just say that those hours are at $150 an hour, and we were able to do it in 30 minutes. Now, it may not be perfect, but it's going to be a great step forward.
That's a quote you should use as a testimonial. What Charlie
Yes.
just said. Excellent testimonial. It's very compelling. Well said, Charlie.
Thank you.
Ben's got it.
All right. So who else can I help? What was there? Was there another technology that I needed to interface with? We had the BIM, which is the business information modeling. Was there another one there that was in that same query?
The
Autodesk.
other one mentioned was Autodesk.
Yeah, Autodesk.
Autodesk. All right. Autodesk. This is showing a little bit of my age and going back, but Autodesk was invented to help us in the SaaS world for service. We'll call it real-time service delivery. So Autodesk, well, and I don't know its current state and how integrated it is with collaborative spaces or AI, but it was meant to basically help us automate all of the FAQs and common things that come into service and support desk and answer those automatically and only have to go to a real person after that had been completely exhausted. So I'm not sure what the current state is of Autodesk, but if its state is still to only support service and support desk personnel, then I think what we've got here in STS is the front end of all that that says this is going to help us organize our work and get the broad experience of AI into this, and we could build out our own FAQs and our own support desk and our own service delivery models based on STS, and we don't have to worry about something that somebody else has previously coded. Does that help?
Marilla?
Extremely.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So it's been a while since I put in service desk, but that's my experience from a ways ago whenever I was putting in call centers across the globe. So we used Autodesk to do some of those implementations.
Awesome. Thanks, Charlie.
All right.
Does anyone have any questions or any clarifications needed after that? I can kind of see Nick's face. He could be doing something entirely different, but
Abby. But by the way, too, just as a use case, Nick, interrupt me if you were going to come on mute. I asked that same question against one of our boards that has all our business context, and I'll just drop the answer into our notes section, and you could read over that. It's a bit long, but that compares STS versus BIM and Autodesk. Not that Charlie needed any help, but just to show you, if you didn't have a Charlie on your team, you do have STS.
yeah.
There you go.
And you're not sharing your screen if you intend to be sharing.
No. Here it is. I just put it into this note here, so you can see the answer here. But
That's
Nick,
another great quote, Ben. If you don't have Charlie on your team, you can use STS.
don't worry, Charlie, you're safe with us. No, we're not letting you replace him.
No,
I'm on the STS team. I'm on everybody's team. I'm always available.
how do you tap into world-class, talent when you don't actually have access to it? Well, you do now. So
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you, Dale.
In this case, it's both. You got STS and me, so it's okay.
2 for 1. Very good.
Nick, were you going to say something? I feel like we've kept you hanging there for a minute.
Yeah, no, sorry, I was muted. I just said I'm following along, and I'm finally having a little time in the background to play with STS. So I'm just creating frames, creating extra boards, seeing how I can add AI agents to them, and just kind of exploring. So that's why I was a little distracted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Good excuse.
All right. So with that being said, does anyone want to work on a scenario, sort of something where you would like some coaching? We can approach STS in a number of different ways, and sort of do a demo, sort of a working collaborative demo if someone's interested in trying something out. And the panic of coming up with a last minute scenario comes up. Any challenges anyone want to work on in their business?
Decisions you need to make, paths to choose from, good options.
Life challenges, nothing.
All right.
All right. So, MB?
Yeah, that's me thinking. I think it needs to be done on a private call, on a different call. And I'm gonna, now that I'm caught up with where you're at, and still exploring, let me assimilate, and then I can come back to you again. So.
And just so you know, the coaching that we're offering is part of the webinar, so we're not offering private coaching through STS,
Okay.
just to be clear.
Okay. All right.
Not for free, no.
Yeah, well, it's kind of sensitive material, so I don't. Yeah.
Understandable, but just wanting to be clear that we're not offering free coaching with STS privately, because
Right.
that's That's would be unfair to others who pay.
No,
This
of course, understood.
this is actually a good opportunity for me to share one other feature here. And that is so this is our AI colleague, as we pointed to in the past. I haven't talked about the one of the other features here, and that is the ability to choose, say, if you don't have a Charlie on your team, but you need a strategy officer or maybe a CEO that you can bounce some ideas off of. But we also have the help assistant. So MB, as you're getting more familiar with STS and where we are today, you can actually ask the assistant as to help with what is STS and how do I use it, uh, in order to get some guidance in terms of basically making yourself around the board, or maybe some ideas as to how you want to develop your plan or make some decisions. So this is a super helpful tool that we have that basically allows you to do this. It's kind of like your help assistant for using the tool itself, like it says.
That's perfect. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay. I'm going to do something that, so if we don't have questions, I'm going to work through a scenario, and I don't know what the scenario is. So I'm going to use AI. I'm going to give you a little bit of a demonstration. And this is the way I'm going to do this is it'll give you ways of thinking about how to use STS, because I can get a sense that a lot of the pressure is, well, I don't know what to ask or what to do or how should I approach this. So I'm going to show you how to do that with STS in a scenario board. So scenario plotting. Okay. And this is not just how to use STS, but some of it's how to think about using AI in general, because it is a thinking partner extraordinaire. So can you see my board now?
Yeah, we can, and also everybody has access to this as well. So we were just in the webinar, the main webinar board. If you hit the arrow on the top left that points to the left, that'll take you to the folder, and then you can click on the scenario planning for webinar July 3rd, etc., to see exactly where Priya is, and you can interact with her there as well.
Okay.
Got it.
Oh,
Good.
did someone say something?
Yes. Just
Okay.
got it, and then somebody's already edited the card there under business context, so that's perfect. Thanks for
Okay.
demonstrating.
Got it. Someone's got Diddy on the mind. Sorry, that was terrible. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we don't have a company, we don't have a business context. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to use AI so I can have something here. I'm going to choose the business context list. So now the AI is going to know we've got company, industry, size, and a challenge. And I'm just going to use the basic assistant, and I'm just going to say, help me generate some mock answers for business context. And I'm just going to put that in quotes just so the AI knows that business context is one thing and can figure out that it's a list title. I'm just going to hit enter. And so here it gave me company name, industry, size, challenge. So it gave me a couple of examples. So I'm just going to use this first one, I think. Let's find out. Greenleaf Organics, organic food retail, 20 million annual revenue. And it's struggling to efficiently track inventory across multiple store locations, leading to frequent stockouts and excess waste. So that's one. The next one is FinSight Solutions, financial tech. We've got 75 million annual revenue. They're facing increased competition from new entrants and need to accelerate digital innovation to retain market share and attract new customers. The third scenario is Echo Build Constructors, construction and engineering. Maybe we'll use that because I know some things about people on the call. We've got 600 annual revenue. It's experienced delays and cost overruns in major projects due to outdated project management tools. Let's go with that one. Seems rather. I'm going to select all the cards related to that particular company. So I just check them off. and I'm going to move them all to my business context. So I select the cards, I'm just going to cut and paste them. So now I have our business scenario and our challenge. Can someone potentially help me think of two scenarios that might come up related to this challenge of cost overruns in major projects due to outdated project management processes?
Inadequate change management processes,
Okay.
or non-existent. Inadequate, though, would
Okay.
be good.
So that's one, or non-existent.
Yep.
Can't spell. What's another scenario that someone could come up with? No one has one?
You have different scenarios for, as in different challenges or different paths forward.
A different path forward. So I'm just going to say, suggest a second scenario.
Supply chain disruption or tariff
Okay.
situation.
Okay, let's go with supply chain disruption. Okay.
What I was thinking about, Priya, is that sometimes they'll run across organizations that don't have good cost management and tracking systems. So they don't really even know that they've got a problem until it's way too late. So say the invoices are coming in from the field too late, or not electronically submitting them. So it's all about cost management and managing the evidence behind the cost system, the elements of the cost system.
Okay, so I'm going to sort of combine this. So we'll have, inadequate change management process or non-existent, and then the other piece is supply chain disruption and poor cost management and tracking systems. They're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
exactly scenarios because they're somewhat different,
Mm-hmm.
but we can start working with this. If I didn't have a scenario, I
Yep.
could use the AI to help me generate multiple scenarios. And then
Mhm.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to select both the scenarios, the business context, and then ask the AI to help me. Who do I want to ask? I'm going to start with this one. Help me evaluate the costs and benefits.
Here's an even better one. How about AI disruption or disruption due to AI? That would be interesting to see what it comes up with.
Okay, I'm going to add this here to notes, disruption due to AI. So I'm going to add that as an idea that we can come back to later. And this is kind of what could happen, right? So now we're getting to a place where we're getting a lot of ideas flowing, but we can't run everything at the same time. So I'm going to just hold that in the notes and ideas. And then I'm going to run this scenario and say, help me evaluate the cost benefits of each of these scenarios. So I've currently selected scenario 1 and scenario 2 below. And let's see what the AI tells us. And you can see here as well as that we're doing this, we've got a history of questions and answers. It's actually tracking our entire history of the conversations. If we wanted to come back to something, we can come back to that. And I'll show you how to track the history in a second. It's going to do a quick refresh. It's probably run. There it is. Okay, so scenario 1, it's talking about project delays, changes are not properly communicated, budget overruns, etc. And then it's going to give us some benefits of addressing scenario 1. And then we've got scenario 2, supply chain disruption. I will keep this on the board. I won't read it all to you, but I'm going to add a list here. So if you want to review the alternatives that were generated at a later time, I'm going to just add a list here. And I'll call this generated alternatives for scenario 1 and 2. And I'm going to select all the cards. I'm going to save them here. And so you can kind of get a sense of, you can start with any type of scenario, and then you can start gathering information. You can start moving things around. you can start looking at the AI. I could also do this. So I use the general AI assistant, but I want to look at this from the perspective of our finance officer. Let's see what the finance officer says about this. So I'll hit save, and you'll notice here too, I can save the output. So if I select a list, it'll keep a copy of your answers. So we've saved it to history of questions and answers. I click save. And that's what you're seeing down here. This is history of questions and answers. So every output gets saved to this section. And that'll allow you to, if you want to bring that back in as context. So here's an example that people like to do frequently. So if you wanted to use AI to coach you and you wanted to put your initial criteria into the AI, my business is here, this is what I'm doing, and then every day provide an update to the AI, you can have a history of your interactions and responses stored within the AI and pull that list back in, and it can start acting like a coach for you on a daily basis. And then if it sort of gets stale, you just delete the history and you start all over again. So that allows you to sort of track things within the STS environment. So now I'm going to run this with the financial officer, and we might get a similar answer. I've got the same lists checked off, and let's see what we get. And the main thing that I'm trying to share with you here, if it's not clear, is you don't have to know the answers. And so Ben demonstrated that earlier. There's this whole process that's taking place. So sometimes we get too many ideas. We can save them and store them in notes and come back to them later because we can't do everything at the same time. You can use the AI to generate ideas. You can use it to describe things from different perspectives. So here we are now looking at this from the perspective of a finance officer. And so you'll see here where the generic AI gave project delays and budget overruns, low employee morale, client dissatisfaction. Our finance officers looking now at cost overruns, lost revenue, reputation damage, remediation expenses, employee turnover, a very different perspective on the same scenario. So you can get a lot of different ways of looking at scenarios, even when you don't have the people in the room. So technical professional, AI, you can get a lot of different points of view. Okay, I'm going to do another one for fun. This one, I'm going to actually ask I want to see how the AI officer responds to this. So this kind of captures Dale's request in a slightly different way. But I'm going to run that and see what the AI officer talks about. So now the AI officer talking more about delayed project timelines, scope creep, stakeholder misalignment, limited data integrity, integration challenges, and then benefits of addressed with AI data improvement. Of course, that's what our AI officer is going to talk about. Clear audit trails, real-time impact analysis, more predictive outcomes. So there's so many different perspectives that you can get on the exact same question, and so much information that you can get by asking the exact same question with the exact same input. And the objective of that is to help you clarify your thinking to ensure that it's more thorough and you've addressed the risks of the projects you're implementing from many different perspectives, so you have less chance of making an error.
Mhm.
There's 3 minutes left, so I'm gonna stop demoing here.
Nice. Thanks, Britta. That was great. Pablo, maybe you have a question, or Nick, or Mario. This is a good time to jump in. Nick.
No, I was just gonna say thank you guys so much for the amazing demonstrations. I'm finally starting to get more of a sense of how to use this and all the benefits. It's amazing. I can't wait to start actually testing it out. Right now, I'm really struggling with like time management and prioritizing the lists of like the 200 tickets I have on my wall that I need to get done.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like if I just load all of those tickets into this and start to ask the different AIs to prioritize them, I'll start to get a much better picture than I could do by myself. So yeah, just no real questions or comments. Just thank you guys for creating this and showing us all how to use it.
And Nick, just for yours, I don't know if you'll be able to pull it off, depends on your handwriting and the size. You can also potentially take a picture of your wall, load it in ChatGPT, translate it into a list, and then dump it in here, and then get it
Nice.
prioritized.
Nice.
Okay. So with that being said, are we complete?
Are we feeling complete, everyone?
Yep, good job, guys. It was very
Thank you,
interesting.
Dave.
Yes, thank you very much.
Good luck,
Thank you,
Nick.
Marillo.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining. Thank you,
And
Pablo.
see
Next
Oh,
you.
week.
and next week Charlie is up. So Charlie, do you want to share what you're sharing next week?
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to do a deep dive. We spent a couple weeks on the charter, and scope is a piece of that work breakdown structure. What's in scope, what's out of scope. How do you get to a detailed work breakdown structure that you can load into one of your favorite project management tools? So basically, we're going to expand on the chartering document and dig into the elements of a detailed scope description.
Perfect.
All right.
Great.
Great.
And thank you
Good.
so much, Charlie. Looking forward to that. Your last two sessions were amazing. Everyone, have a fantastic rest of the week. Look forward to seeing you next week.